I'm not in Delft, but I'm close. I'm in Rijswijk. I have a meeting with Chet Hendrickson. Well, Chet is one of the first people who signed the Agile Manifesto and has lots of experience in XP. He's now teaching a Scrum developer training. And I'm here to find out what's really inside. Okay, Chet, thanks for spending some time with me today.
I'm glad to be here. It's really good to finally meet you.
Okay, thank you very much. You're here to give a training on Scrum. Can you tell a little bit about yourself and about the developer training you're giving?
Well, I've been involved in Agile since the beginning of extreme programming 15 or 16 years ago. I like to say that I'm the first person to have signed the Agile Manifesto after it was written.
Okay.
So there's 17 authors, there's one first signer. So, remember how many the number is. So I've been involved in this world for quite a long time. At this point in the game, I've been doing Agile longer than I've done anything else in the software development world. So.
Okay. You originally came from the XP world, looking at your shirt as well.
Yes.
What's the place of XP in the developer training or in Scrum?
Well, the technical practices that came out of XP are vital to being able to get to done at the end of a Scrum sprint and continue to be able to get to done over and over again without refactoring and test-driven development, really, and continuous integration and refactoring. You'll find the teams slow down, and therefore we lose the predictability, which is why you do something like Scrum.
Yeah. Now we talk about refactoring. According to what I teach people, refactoring is on the definition of done, is part of your work. I also encounter teams that say we would like to have 2 or 3 sprints to do refactoring. How do you respond to that?
I think that's completely wrong. What they're saying is we've done a lousy job in the past few sprints, or perhaps the entire project. Now we need to stop giving you the thing you're paying us for and go back and fix the stuff we did poorly. What you want to do is have each story, no matter where it is written, absorb all of its complete cost. And when you go off and do refactoring sometime later, what you're saying is that story we gave you in Sprint 2, you really didn't pay all of its cost yet, and we have to steal money out of your pocket to go fix it. And that's not the way to do Scrum.
Thanks. That's exactly the way I look at it, and I think refactoring is part of the total. Definition of done, and done means refactored.
Absolutely. If you're going to be done on the date, you have to have done all the work up to that point. And if you're saving refactoring, there's this bolus of work that you've not addressed. In the same sort of way, if you don't take the bugs out, you'll have this unknown amount of work.
So you're now here to train the Scrum developer training. How does such a training look like? Are you dealing with slides, or how does it go?
Well, what we do is we start with a little bit of demonstration and lecture, but the bulk of the course is the students working on a little payroll project in either 90-minute or 2-hour sprints. We start with iteration planning. We work for 2 hours. We actually do a demo and a retrospective. We do that outside the time box just because of the stresses of it. And in addition to us looking at the features that are delivered, we also inspect the code and talk about how it can be made better and try to instruct the students on the things they should be looking for in order to have the code the highest quality as possible. Because most people don't really know what good code is supposed to look like in it. And until you see it and understand what makes it good, you really don't know.
So they really learn by doing.
Absolutely.
And do they also then do continuous integration, pair programming and stuff?
We do continuous integration, pair programming, TDD, acceptance test-driven development, refactoring. The core things that you really have to do, you learn in this class.
Okay, that's cool. And how is are the students making the same mistakes in the first sprints every time you teach the class? Is there a trend?
There is certainly a trend. Students have a tendency to bite off more than they can do in the first sprint. You look at these simple little stories, and you think, I can do 6 or 8 of these. And in fact, they normally get 2 or 3 done. We have some little stories later on which are there to trip up students whose designs are not as good as they can be. And even if they have done an outstanding job of designing the code, we find ways of injecting stories into the plan that causes them to have to go back and rethink. So that's an important part, is learning that you can take one design and move it to a different design when needed.
Okay, so at the end of the class, what's the message you send the developers home with?
The big lesson we want to leave them with is you've been exposed to these ideas for 2 or 3 days or maybe a week, but this is the first step. that from now on you have to look at what you do every day and figure out how you can make what you do better and how you can help the rest of your team do better. So this is the first day of a whole new path.
So you don't get agile in 3 days of training. It's just a path, and these are the first steps.
Absolutely. We have been doing this, Ron and I've been doing this for 15 years, and we learn new stuff all the time.
Chet, thank you for your time. You've inspired me. I'm going to write about it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
In the Netherlands we have a saying, success has many fathers. As soon as something becomes successful, people start to claim this success and they feel ownership of that success. So with Agile. But when the success claiming comes, also the fights start. Scrum versus XP, XP versus DSDM, or even more recent, Scrum versus Kanban. And that's a pity, because we all have the same goal in mind. We all want to deliver more valuable software faster to the people that use it. So there's no fuss in fighting. There's value in everything. So I'm also happy to hear that in the Scrum developer training, the XP practices has found their way into the training. The people are trained in pair programming, test-driven development, continuous integration. Because after all, that's stuff that you really need to produce done software at the end of a sprint. But most of it I'm very happy about the main message, to teach, students, inspect and adapt. Because Agile itself is not an end goal. You're never there. It's not something you learn in 3 days of training. Agile is a route, trying to become better and better all the time, by learning from doing. And I think that's the takeaway from the interview by Chet. Inspect and adapt, learn from doing.
This videoblog is sponsored by Awareness.
And Frans, have you taped it?
Yeah, Rini, it's a wrap.
And then what do you think about it?
Well, this expect and adapt reminded me of the weekend.
Expect and it's inspect and adapt.
Oh, I thought you said expect and adapt.
But why did that remind you of the weekend?
Well, I expected a very funny weekend.
Yeah, so?
Well, my mother-in-law came by, so I had to adapt.